More international search teams and aid shipments are arriving in Venezuela 4 days after powerful twin earthquakes devastated the country. Residents have been growing increasingly frustrated with the government's response to the disaster that has killed at least 1,400 people and left tens of thousands unaccounted for. Earlier, a powerful aftershock hit north of the capital, Caracas, although no additional damage has been reported.
For 106 hours, Aaron Levy had been buried deep in the rubble of this building in Guaira. Lying between him and rescuers was the body of a deceased person, plus layers of stacked concrete, making the operation complex and time-critical. Yet overnight, against overwhelming odds, the 21-year-old was pulled free. However, across La Guaira, hope is fading for more stories like that. Efforts continue to be hampered by strong aftershocks, damaged infrastructure, and what residents say is a poor response from the government. In many communities, anguish is turning to anger.
We want support. We want heavy machinery. We want to take our family members with us. They haven't helped us clear the rubble.
Authorities say they are now sending more rescue teams and have described this period as critical for saving lives. Specialist workers from at least a dozen countries are joining the search.
We are equipped with the technology and specialised equipment needed to locate people trapped beneath collapsed buildings. It is estimated that several thousand people may still be buried under the rubble.
From today, the operation will begin to shift focus from rescuing people to recovering bodies, and to supporting the hundreds of thousands of survivors left behind in this devastated landscape. Kate Varley, RTÉ News.
Well, staying with that story, and shortly before coming on air, I spoke to freelance journalist Catherine Ellis, who is currently based in Caracas. I began by asking her about those recent aftershocks.
Yeah, so I was in a building in the east of the city, and I was just trying to get something from my bag. I'd bent down, and then I felt like the whole floor moving. It felt like almost like you were on a ship on really stormy water. That's the only way I can kind of describe it. Someone else had described it like being on the sea the other day when the actual earthquake happened, rather than a normal kind of shaking. It was almost being like on a very, very stormy sea. So that was people were again quite scared of that. I went down. I had to get a taxi, and then the neighbours were a little bit shocked. My taxi driver as well said his daughter had been texting him really scared. A lot of kids, adults too, are really scared every time they feel one of these aftershocks, and this one was a little bit bigger today. They're really worried that something terrible is going to happen again. You know, a lot of people have lost their houses, they've lost loved ones, or they've just had a really traumatic experience.
Because they're still sifting through rubble and operating in, I'd imagine, some very damaged buildings while these aftershocks are happening. It's around 5 days since those initial earthquakes. I'd imagine hope is starting to fade.
Yeah, hope is starting to fade, but people do still have some hope. Yesterday, I was in La Guaira, which is one of the worst affected areas. Some buildings are still standing, but others are completely reduced to just slabs of concrete and rubble. I went to one place and there were people looking through the rubble, climbing into holes without any helmets, without spades, like anything. They told me that it used to be a shop. You could see money, notes on the floor. You could see toys. You could see shampoo. The owner was in there when it collapsed, and other people were in there too. They're still hoping that maybe some of them might be alive. The problem is now when you pass buildings, you can start to smell dead bodies, which gives you a clue that there's little chance of survival. But there is still hope. There are still teams that are saying they're hearing noise. There are signs of life. So people haven't lost hope at all. Venezuelans are very positive people, but it is slowly fading.
And for those whose homes have been destroyed, where are they staying? Have shelters been set up for them?
So most of them are staying with friends or family that have offered them rooms in safer places that weren't so badly affected, or they're just staying in tents. Tents actually where they can still see their homes. I met one man yesterday who was staying in a tent, and he pointed to his apartment. It was a 3-story building, a government kind of built building, and it had completely collapsed. So he was pointing to the ground and saying, "It is kind of under there. That is my house," and he could see it from the tent he was staying in. People say they don't know what will happen for the next few weeks, if they're going to get taken to shelters, to temporary accommodation. But at the minute, in La Guaira, but also in central Caracas, you can see people in the parks and even on some streets that are just sleeping in tents. I've also been told today that, there's a group of orphans, there's a group of 60 kids, basically. Their parents are dead or just haven't been found, and they're being transferred today to a centre that is being run by nuns. But they're going to be overrun as well. Like, Venezuela is not prepared for this. It's a very difficult situation. Everybody's trying to do what they can, but people are frustrated and they are increasingly getting angry with the government because they want some organisation, cooperation and information.